When people say they want more accountability, I call BS, bullshit, because that's not what they actually want. What they really want is someone to take responsibility. Not the checklist kind of responsibility, but the authentic human kind. They want someone who's willing to say, oops, my bad, I missed that. I own it. And for this video, I want you to think about that person or that situation in your life where you wish that someone would take more accountability, or where you think that's what you want. Maybe it's with your boss, a partner, a parent, a colleague, because what we're going to go ahead and get to the truth of what folks really mean when they say they want accountability. What they're craving a person who's going to listen, not just hear. They want a person who sees people as people and not as objects. And let's be honest, nobody is begging for more accountability meetings. I can't stand meetings. What people really want is relief. Relief from, in this case, let's say a leadership silence. Relief from decisions made without context. Relief from mistakes that never get acknowledged. They want relief from the weight of the theater of perfectionism and the avoidance of responsibility. Let me bring this home by telling you about this woman named Elena, this little situation with someone that I've worked with before. Of course, Elena is not her real name. It's disguised to keep her privacy. But anyway, let me tell you about Elena. Because here's the deal. Even though it's somebody I know, Elena could be any one of us, right? Especially when life gets noisy. Elena's brilliant, committed, and carrying a mindset shaped by a limiting belief that she didn't realize she had. She didn't realize that this limiting belief, not only was she carrying it, but the belief was in the driver's seat of her life. What was her belief? Her belief was that I'll finally feel better at work when my boss takes accountability, for his actions. I'm going to say it again. Elena believed that her peace would come, that her desired reality at work could be actualized when her boss would take accountability. This belief, a limiting belief, subtle yet powerful, shaped all her other workplace relationships. It hijacked her peace because it tied her emotional freedom to someone else's behavior. Can you imagine? Think about that. Her peace was contingent upon someone who she could not control's decisions. And with this limiting belief, the emotional load grew heavier and heavier. It impacted her health, her home life, her energy, and the real danger, her clarity was all but gone because her amygdala remained in hijack mode, fight, flight, freeze mode, making it next to impossible to see solutions because she was literally stuck in survival mode, or what Dr. David Hawkins calls the lower states of consciousness: fear, shame, guilt, desire, all of that stuff that's below 200, the energetic level of 200. And in that state, the brain isn't solving problems, folks, because the prefrontal cortex is shut down. Because it's simple. At this moment, your brain's just trying to keep you alive. I'm telling you, it's fight, flight, freeze state at its finest. You see, the problem is that Elena had one message on repeat. If my boss would just own his mess, I could breathe again. If my boss would just own his mess, I could breathe again. If my boss would just own his mess, I could breathe again. And life kept mirroring this reality created by her thoughts. The same story kept being written over and over again until she shifted. Her breakthrough came when she realized the only accountability that mattered was the responsibility she held for herself. She wanted that sweet peace without the guilt. She wanted to take her power back. She wanted freedom from the limiting belief that her joy was tied to someone else's choices. Think about that. This limiting belief was keeping her shackled, was keeping her joy shackled, tethered to someone else's choices, like I said before. But folks, that realization, that was her invitation to rise. It was her awakening. It was her opportunity to shift from a fear-based mindset to a consciousness of courage, which is above that level 200, according to Dr. David Hawkins. It's where personal power actually begins. You see, accountability has become a polite, professional word for somebody please fix this. I feel seen. I feel unheard. I don't feel safe. Accountability sounds formal, but it's really a cry for repair. People don't want leaders held accountable. They want leaders to take responsibility, to show up, to own it, to be a human. What they're actually saying is stop pretending you didn't make that decision. Acknowledge the fallout. We're still cleaning up. Let your apology mean something. Take a moment and see us. It's not a demand for punishment. It's a longing for that person's presence in the situation. And if you find yourself questioning the difference between accountability and responsibility, hear me out. And you can also share your comments in your insight in the comments. Listen to this. Accountability is reactive. It's external. It's fear-based. It's policing. It's posturing. It's survival. It's where Elena was trapped waiting for someone else's behavior to change so she could finally breathe. Responsibility, though, on the other hand, is proactive. It's internal. It's truth-based. It's about repair, restoration. It's about trust. It's the moment Elena said, I'm allowed to create my own peace. I don't need to outsource my power. Accountability says, prove you're not wrong. Responsibility says, I see where I went wrong. Let me say that again. Accountability says, prove you're not wrong. Responsibility says, I see where I went wrong. And I'm willing to make it right. One is about image. The other is about integrity. And let me say the quiet part out loud. For many people, accountability sucks because it feels like a threat. It hits the body before it hits the brain. We brace, we perform, we hide, not because we're weak, but because we're conditioned to believe accountability equals danger. Think about that. You know, you really don't even want to be held accountable. So whether it's a work relationship or a personal relationship, and you call for accountability, remember this: people are peoply, and that includes leaders. As humans, they too go into fight, flight, freeze when they sense danger, even the danger of accountability. Now, this is not an excuse, but insight to leverage. Here's the key. Your peace on the job, in your home, or wherever cannot wait for someone else's nervous system to calm down and accept accountability. And what does this all mean for you? Well, here's the deal. Before you demand accountability, remember, the mirror will never smile at you first. Whatever you want to see, you must become. If you're going to call someone to the light, you must be willing to stand in your own spotlight. Ask yourself, do I want to be held accountable, or do I want to be supported, encouraged, and guided towards success? Because if we're honest, like I said, none of us truly wants accountability. We want psychological safety. In our relationships, safety that makes responsibility feel like a choice, not a consequence. We want someone to believe in us enough to help us grow and not police our failures. I feel like I need to say that again. We want someone to believe in us enough to help us grow and not police our failures. It's not about weakness. It's about humanity. So what's the next step? Stop waiting for your external reality to change. Stop waiting for that person to finally be accountable and start examining your internal lens. Shift the focus from then to you, because the mirror always points inward first. If If you need help with this, I want you to check out this method, my method for exploring your limiting beliefs that may be holding you back from your desired reality. It's called Scene, where the first step is where you spot the moment. Think about it. What's poking at your peace right now, particularly when it comes to accountability? E, examine the lens. What limiting belief or old mindset is shaping your interpretation of this situation? E, expand with curiosity. Is it really about leadership? Is it really about this person? Or is this about something inside asking for more attention, Maybe there's something else that you really need to be thinking about and addressing. And then after you've gotten all this revelation, what action helps you take your power back? Because nothing truly shifts until you do. You can't change your workplace reality without first changing the lens you're using to interpret it. So maybe it's not accountability we need. Maybe it's the courage to see ourselves clearly, to ask, what is this moment teaching me? Maybe the real need is the maturity to take responsibility for our impact with honesty, empathy, and care. Because when the leaders take responsibility, when teams take responsibility, when you take responsibility, culture shifts, trust expands, relationships deepen, and the word accountability returns to its original meaning, an opportunity to shift and not a weapon to shame. And just remember, the mirror will never smile before you do. Your reality will always mirror your internal state before it mirrors your intention. Because nothing really changes, even with accountability, until you do.